Hey everyone, Britt and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. Today's topic, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently today. We're doing a Q&A with the Carmichaels today. So if you have a question that you've been dying to ask us, go ahead and leave it in the comments below because we will be answering all of your questions today. And we're going to start off with the question that was just asked on how to release stress, how to release worry and anger. Hey everyone, if you're here watching, if this is your first time, say hello. Where are you watching from? And again, we're doing it a little bit differently this time because we want to do a Q&A with you guys. So leave your questions in the comments below. We'll be answering all your questions today here on the Elevated Life from any topic, from success to spirituality to health and wellness to shifting your mindset and really just anything. I don't know that there's a topic that we won't cover.
Yeah, let's do it.
So if you have a question for us, go ahead and leave it in the comments below so that we can do some Q&A with the Carmichaels. But we'll start off with the question we were already asked, and that is, how do you release stress and worry?
Yeah, when you're thinking about stress and worry, the really important factor is to what happens. So what happens when you get stressed out? What does your body do? What are you focusing on with your thoughts? What are you telling yourself about the situation? So it's really important to remember that things don't stress us out, just in the same way that things don't make us angry. What really happens is something comes up and then an emotion comes up and we respond or react to that emotion. So it's really important when you're talking about stress to look at what are you picturing. So if someone comes in and brings something up that would be stressful to you and you automatically start picturing super horrible, bad situations that are going to happen to you or your family or the world or anything else, it's going to be stressful. Stressful things happen because of what you're focusing on. Your mind can only focus on a couple things at once. Most of us are super bad at multitasking unless we've just practiced so many times. That's what we've gotten good at. And worry and stress are things that we practice, just like anything else is. And positive mindset, same way. If you practice a positive mindset a lot, you get a positive mindset. If you practice worry and stress, if you practice imagining bad things happening to you or bad things going on in the future, the craziest thing to realize right now is that how many things have you worried about in your life that never happened? This never happened. And it's one of those deals where you realize you're in control of all these things.
One of my favorite quotes that you say, Chris, is worry is living in the future and planning to fail. So if you want to automatically eliminate worry, then stay present. Stop projecting out into the future all the things that are going to go wrong. Because when we're dreaming big and we're visualizing what we do want, there's no worry involved. We project into the future all the great things that we expect and that we want out of life. But stress becomes a real thing when we start to use our imagination for what we don't want. And that's also called worry. So if you eliminate worry, you automatically eliminate stress, because what I feel is there's a gap between where I am now, what I have in this present moment, and what I want to change or what I want different in my life. And I feel like we build up all this stress because we're not accepting where we are in the present moment and we're expecting or wishing we were somewhere else.
Yeah, it's great. You take two people and you face them with the same situation, and one person just totally worries about it and it never happens, or they bring it into the experience because the big deal here is that your mind is like a broadcasting unit and you broadcast out your thoughts constantly. And what ends up happening is your mind tries very hard to make whatever you imagine come into realization. That's when you hear people talk about manifesting or law of attraction. What they're really talking about is, what is it that you're focusing on? What is that you're focusing on all day? If you spend 80% of your day having negative thoughts, you're going to have a negative life no matter what happens. You can have perfect everything. Perfect job, perfect spouse, live in the perfect house, be in the perfect area. But if your thoughts are constantly on the negative, that's what you're going to get. So the biggest thing in stressing is to pause the second that you get stressed. And I like to even use like a mental stop sign. So if you notice yourself worrying, you're projecting out to the future, and you're like, oh my God, it sucks so bad. Boom, big stop sign in your mind. Have the big stop sign fill up your whole field of vision. That will allow you to take a break real quick. Okay, break into thoughts. Okay, now what is it that I actually want to focus on? And if you start focusing on the things that you enjoy and the things that bring positive emotions, the things that that fill you up inside, and you'll know it because you'll automatically start feeling it. Once you start doing that, the stress just kind of goes away. It doesn't mean things won't come up in life. It doesn't mean that things will always go the right way if you just have a positive attitude. It won't. And if you can be okay with that, you can manage your emotions in the tough times and focus on the solution. If you continuously focus on the problem, you get the problem. If you focus on the solution, you get the solution. So always manage what you're focusing on and take responsibility for that. This is one of those things a lot of people are like, well, I can't control these things in my life. You can 100% control what you focus on. And when you do that, your life changes.
And they say what you focus on expands. So like Chris said, use your energy and your personal power. Take responsibility of choosing to focus on the good stuff, because when you focus on gratitude and appreciation, love and joy, you begin to get more of those things in your life. So ultimately, if you're experiencing stress and worry, you have to raise your hand and say, oh, that's my fault. I take responsibility for the thoughts and the feelings and the actions that I'm choosing. Julia is actually the one that asked us this question on how to release stress and worry. So thanks for joining us, Julia, and thanks for asking that question. So again, we are doing today's topic a little bit differently. So if you're here watching, leave a question in the comments below, because we're doing Q&A with the Carmichaels today on the elevated life. And we've already answered how to eliminate stress and worry. And honestly, they seem to be synonymous. Like if you're worrying, you're going to stress yourself out because you're projecting what you don't want.
Yeah, and your body, this is so important. And, we bring this up a lot. And it's so important to remind ourselves over and over and over again. And that is that your body can't tell the difference between what you're experiencing and what you're imagining you're experiencing. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you guys? So basically what I'm saying is that if you imagine stress, your body produces the same chemicals, the same physiological responses as though the stress were actually there. That's the same reason why.
And that's why it feels so real.
Yeah, it feels totally real. I mean, if you've ever been in a movie and started crying and then suddenly you realize, this is a movie. These people aren't, this is not even really happening. These people are reading a script or memorizing a script and playing it on, but I'm feeling the emotions. It's the same way in your mind. Your imagination is the screen of what you get in reality. So if you're constantly giving it negative images, that's what you're going to get.
So if you have any questions for us today here on The Elevated Life, we are changing it up. So go ahead and leave your questions in the comments below, and we're sharing all of our answers. Again, there's not a topic that is off limits here on The Elevated Life. Anne says, it's like kids in movies. Young kids can't tell the difference between real and fake. Yeah. And young kids and old kids and medium kids, no one, because the truth is we all have a subconscious, we all have a spirit, and just because our physical body gets bigger and older doesn't mean that the insides are different. So we have to be mindful that all of us experience that. When we watch murder movies and we have nightmares about it, that's because our brain and our entire system is like, oh my God, this is really happening. It's freaking out. Julia says, yes, that makes sense. Trying not to be stressed. It's hard. It's hard to be stressed. And just like we talked about, you'll have to go back and watch the replay if you didn't catch it from the beginning. Like, you're choosing this. But I'm willing to accept responsibility and move past it. Perfect. When you can take ownership and say, I have been doing this. This is the way that I've been choosing to think, I've been choosing to feel, and what I've been choosing to focus on, like Chris talked about, then that's when you actually have power to reclaim and to reinvent yourself, to change the way that you're doing things.
All right, Julia, I'm going to give you like the best tip that I can right here. So we talked about what you focus on really matters here. So when you're stressed and you continuously focus on stress stuff, it sucks, right? But you said it's trying to not be stressed is difficult, right? Trying is something that your mind does. So one of the best things that you can do when you start to feel stress is to pull back. So we can be in first person perspective. In other words, the feeling of life is happening to me and I'm just seeing this. Or you can pull back one step and watch yourself. And in meditation they call this, or in Buddhism they call this being the watcher. And so as you find yourself being the watcher, in other words, pulling back in that third person perspective and watching yourself worry and be stressed, what ends up happening is there's a disconnect. So rather than feeling all the emotions that you would normally feel, you feel the emotions of something as though you're watching it. In other words, if you've ever seen anybody stressed before, but you've watched them and not gotten yourself stressed, it's the same exact thing. So as you put a block in between the things that you're imagining and yourself, you start to disconnect from them. And that way you don't have to try to not be stressed. You can just watch yourself be stressed and then let it go. one of the big rules that we live by is the 5-5 rule. And that is that you only get 5 minutes to worry about it. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, you got 5 minutes and that's it. So you got 5 minutes to worry, drive yourself crazy, whatever it is that you feel like.
Go full out for that 5 minutes.
Go for it. Let it happen.
Just be crazy, AF.
Yeah, yell and scream and stomp your feet, light matches or whatever you like doing.
And be so worried and so afraid and
5 minutes.
And sweat, get all the sweats out and the shakes and just own it. Like, yeah, this is what I feel. But feel it for 5 minutes. Don't carry it for 5 years. Give yourself 5 minutes to feel whatever comes up. And that way you're not trying to deny or cut off parts of yourself, because that's when we become schizophrenic, guys. So we have to accept and honor that, okay, we feel fear. Okay, we feel anger. Okay, we feel worry and sadness. Okay, own it. Feel it. But most importantly, don't become it. Just notice it and see what it's there to show you and to teach you. I just want to say hi to Cody really quick. Hey Cody. She says mindful and intentional action, knowing that we are making the choice.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to wake up. This is why we're teaching you guys how to live an elevated life. It's about creating more awareness and conscious action in your life.
Yeah, it's great because like once you do this enough times, what ends up happening is emotions stop being something that you react to and they start being something that you respond to. Remember, emotions are always really powerful and they can point out things in your life that aren't necessarily going the way they need to or going the way that you want them to go and things like that. So it's great to let the emotion come up and use it. Use it as insight into what's going on in your life. And so you just suddenly say, wow, I feel angry or I feel worried toward this. Maybe I just need to shed a little more intention here. Maybe I need to ask someone else for a little bit of help. Say, hey, I'm feeling kind of concerned about this. What steps could I take to mitigate that, to make that go away? And the other thing you can do is to realize that at some point, even the worst things that could possibly come out, if you just imagine the worst scenario, the worst case, the absolute worst, and said to yourself, you know what? I could accept that. I could live with that. We can make that happen still. And if you're going to go up on stage and everybody's going to laugh at you, it's okay. There's another stage. There's more people. It's all right. I can deal with that. And once you start being okay with the worst things, they stop being worse things. They just start being, it's whatever. And so you drop those expectations down and you just start enjoying life. Say, whatever's going to happen, I know it's for my greater good. I know I can grow through it. I know I can make it happen myself.
Here's a question that, great.
Boom.
Good job. Boom. Mic drop. Here's a question. How do you shift an appetite for certain TV programs to an appetite for more positive content? So here's how I like to think about this. At the end of our life,
I love it.
At the end of our life, we get to watch a playback, a really quick film reel from beginning to end of our life's experience. And knowing that makes me really mindful of the choices that I make in my lifetime. And so I always like to think, you know, what is this teaching me? How am I going to learn and grow, especially spiritually, from this? Is this what I'm consuming actually making me feel good? Like I said, if you watch a murder movie and you go to bed and have nightmares, that is not positive content, okay? So I like to think from a backwards perspective of my life. Well, at the end of my life, I'm going to do a review and I'm going to watch every action that I took, every word that I said, every feeling, every unspoken thought. I'm going to get to experience all of that in a blink of an eye. Did you see all the lights just flicker?
Lights
Whoa.
flashing, yeah.
You're going to get to experience all of that. And to me, that makes me more conscious of the choices I make in the moment. And so when I think about watching the Kardashians or some just negative, like nothing positive, if I ask myself, am I going to learn from this, grow from this, or be positively inspired? If the answer is no, I just don't watch it, period. We don't even own TV because really, what is it doing for you? Unless you're being educated or inspired, I don't see the reason to watch anything. So I like to think of it from a backwards perspective. Is this positively serving my spiritual growth and the journey that I'm here to embark on?
Yeah, it was funny, something that we did back when we first got together years ago. We just didn't buy TV the first time we moved in together. And it was one of those things that we did in the beginning, and we just never bought TV. And I tell you what, if you really want to change your life, if you really want to just be like, what would be the simple thing that I could do to like drastically change my life? Cut your cable bill, ditch it, buy some books. And I will tell you what, buy a book in whatever you're interested in. Excuse me, if it's health, if you want to work out, if you want to increase your business, if you want to, be with your partner better, have better intimacy, go buy some books on those topics, read them, incorporate them into your life, and see how much different it is. A lot of people say constantly, I don't have time. Well, I have this big dream, but I just don't have time to do it.
But how much time did you spend watching TV?
Yeah, like the average American watches like 4 to 6 hours of TV a day. Do you know what you can get done in 4 to 6 hours? I mean, you can have the body of a Greek god or goddess in that amount of time, have the best meals, know how to cook, build a business. You can do everything. I mean, that's literally a part-time job that you're doing just spending watching the tube. And a lot of times we do it to de-stress, to relax. You just got to come up with new ways to do that. Once you learn meditation, some self-hypnosis, some things like that, maybe some yoga, you can get the same kind of relaxation within the first minute or two. So you don't have to spend 30 minutes to an hour watching a bunch of commercials about stuff you don't really care about.
Get high on your own, on the oxygen that you breathe in.
Go outside, take a walk, you know, do those kinds of things. Tell your partner, hey, you're sitting next to me. You're super important. I love you. I just want to let you know that. Like, focus on what's right in front of you. The reason why relationships fall away so fast is because we forget to pay attention to our partner. Yeah. And then they say, hey, where have you been? I thought you said that you enjoyed me. All you want to do is watch TV all the time. Cut the cable.
Or if you're like this.
Yeah. It could be YouTube. Whatever it is that you watch nonstop, it's just kind of like, ditch it, buy some books, and you'll notice your life will change so much faster because
you're present.
Yeah, and normally, you know, books are written by people who are typically experts in a topic. So you're learning so much, your brain's growing. It's saying, ooh, these are new ideas. How can I put these in my life? And suddenly you're like, why did I have TV? Just go watch movies every now and again. Make it a date night. Just do movies. That's what we do. We love to go watch movies together. But just Friday night, date night, go to the movies, go hang out. And the rest of the week, it's like, no TV for us.
Yeah, just be together.
Just hang out.
Jennifer says, so relevant. I was looking up about anxiety today and we popped up.
There you go. Perfect.
Guys, this is all a choice. And once you realize that you have the power to choose a more positive thought, game on, guys. Because if we've been living in stress and anxiety and anger and fear and worry and all this then we aren't consciously living our life. We're allowing old habits and old beliefs to run us on a program, essentially. So it's about waking up and breaking that cycle.
Yeah, hold on real quick. The big deal about anxiety and stress is that it shifts us into the wrong mind state. And what I mean by that is you can only be creative in certain brainwave states. There's certain brainwave states that's just for creativity. So if you're wanting to write a book or you're wanting to do something that's kind of out of what you normally do, you want to create beautiful art or do something in the world that's really constructive and really amazing and creative, you have to be in a certain brainwave state. And if you're stressed, that's not the brainwave state. So the second that you start getting stressed, what you're basically doing is taking a lid and putting on your capacity to do anything. And so once you start getting out of that mode and detaching from it, or maybe just using that worry for 5 minutes deal, once you get out of that mode, you start being like, man, I have all this insight and all these answers just coming my way. All you had to do was just step back and get out of your own way the whole time. It's so important though. You have to practice it and practice it and practice it because it's all, mental stuff is all conditioned behavior. And once you do it enough times, you just get used to doing it that way. So practice, 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 and don't stop practicing.
Oh my gosh, you guys have so many great questions right now. And it's funny because you answered Julia's question before we even got to it. Do you have any tips on getting a closer connection in your relationship? Ditch the TV. Ditch the phones, ditch the electronics, ditch the distractions, and just be present. What Chris and I used to do is take an hour walk every day at the end of our day. So after work, after his work, we'd go outside for an hour, no phones, no distractions, and just walk and talk. We called it walkie-talkie. And we would do it for an hour for over a year, and actually for 6-7 years now, because once we started that habit, we were like, man, this is amazing, and we're so close. We're both focusing on our dreams together. We're both on the same page and the same path. So go outside and take a walk together. Just talk with no distractions.
One of the big things on the walking that we really figured out, and this is a saying, and I don't take any credit for this, but the saying is, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And that's what I really figured out when we started walking, is that once we got on the same page with like where we wanted our life to go, how we wanted things to look, what we wanted to focus our efforts and energy on, I mean, it was such a quick shift. And you wouldn't think that, because it doesn't really make sense. Like, man, how could that even work? But just being together, and eventually we ran out of crap to talk about. There's eventually, you know what the other person's going to say. And so we got to a space where we were just silent, and we learned to communicate through that silence, just being in each other's presence. And it becomes so powerful. And this is like one of the most intimate things you can do. And you're totally clothed and you're outside, but being with another person and sharing a specific space with them and talking about your dreams and talking about what you want to see in your life, It's powerful. Want to take your relationship up to the next level? Do that. Very powerful.
You guys are crushing it on these questions. I hope we can get all of them. So moving on, what kind of books do you read? But hold on, it also goes with Anne's question on how you can help your partner build self-care routine when you have a strong one. My husband voiced that he was envious that I have a solid routine, and he claims that he has no time. Mindset book recommendations, please.
Okay, let's see. Mindset, number one book for mindset's Think and Grow Rich. I mean, it's very difficult to get out from that book. I think it was created like the 30s or 1930s or 40s by Napoleon Hill. Phenomenal. I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. If you want to go deeper into change, there's a book by Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics that will get you deep into psychology. It was a guy who was a plastic surgeon, and he realized that people would come in and get the plastic surgery done, but it wouldn't fix their confidence issues, and it wouldn't fix like all the body images that they have, despite the fact that now it's artificial, and it still wasn't curing that. So he looked deeper into psychology of ways things are going. So for mindset and stuff like that, those are two very, very powerful books.
Definitely. What kind of books do we read? I never read fiction. Yeah, I never read fiction books. Like I said about TV, I only consume things that are going to educate and inspire me. So I pick up books on mainly metaphysical books is what I currently read. Chris reads a lot of success books and everything. I really kind of stick to the metaphysical stuff because that's the kind of content I want to learn about at this point in my life.
I tell you what's cool now, though. What's really fun about reading a lot of books, and if you follow me on Instagram, I mean, I post what book I read every week. So
yeah, that's true.
Every Wednesday you're going to see. So I read at least a book a week, or I post at least one book a week. So every Wednesday I post a new book. So if you're looking for just something to read, you want to hop on, you can go through my Instagram feed from a year ago and see what I've read every single week.
I call them Chris notes.
Yeah. So the big deal about this one of the things I like to do, if you have a business, if you're in some sort of a business, 6 books on your business per year. So 1 book every other month, you'll go up in your business so much faster than everybody else.
Whether it's marketing or learning more talents and skills or in your job, read about what you love. And someone said they only watch TV about vet animal shows. Perfect. So you can tell what they're into. Okay, great question here. Do you have any guided meditation suggestions for helping letting go? I actually have an incredible free guided meditation called the Release Meditation. Shoot me a private message at The World by Britt. You'll find me on Chris's Instagram. And I'll send you that link. It's too weird to try to tell you to type it in. So reach out. I have tons of free guided meditations on my website that you can download.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
Okay, what other questions do you guys have for us? Let me scroll through here. Okay, any other questions for today on Q&A with the Carmichaels? How nice is this? Thank you for the inspiration.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are so welcome.
So welcome.
We love joining you guys every Friday for the Elevated Life series, and we love sharing our tips and tricks on how to shift your mindset because, guys, anything that you do in your life, whether it's create a Fortune 500 company or you create the family you've always dreamed of, no matter what it is, it all boils down to one thing, and that is your mindset. And the only thing that limits you from dreaming, having that life of your dreams, your dream life, is the way that you think about it and what you believe to be possible. And in the Elevated Life, we're here to teach you to up-level that mindset so that you can reach that next level of growth and experience and expansion in your life. Julia says, is there a best way to not get nervous? I have an acting competition coming up in a week, and I'm trying to calm my nerves, especially since I have stage fright a little bit. Julia, I know exactly how you feel because I wanted so badly to be on TV and to have an opportunity to teach and to inspire. And I manifested the opportunity, and when it happened, my whole system was like this. Even though I was prepared, I was ready, I knew I was the right person for the job, my body sent, and your body, all of us here, your body sends you extra energy when you get asked to do something new because you need that extra energy to exude and exert, like I said, trying something new in your life. So Julia, to think about nerves, to shift that, this is a simple shift that's going to change the game, guys. The other side of the coin of nervousness is excitement. So if you stop saying, I'm nervous, and you shift it to, I'm excited, the energy automatically lifts up and you feel more positive with all that extra energy you're getting. Typically, you just feel this. You're like, I'm nervous and I'm scared and I'm sweating and it's freaking me out. But if you just notice all this extra energy, your body's coming up with all this extra energy, take a deep breath and just say, oh, I'm excited. Thank you for this extra energy so that I can perform at my best ability. So shift your mindset from nervous to excited and see how that begins to calm some of that physical energy coming through your body. And know that every time you perform something new or something exciting, you will get all this extra energy. You'll have to pee, you'll get nervous, but it's really just your body sending you all this extra energy, and I like to call it excitement.
Yeah, like your body's pretty much trying to help you. You're saying, hey, I'm going to do this big thing. Your body's going, ooh, you need more. I'm going to give you more. If you want to know how we prepped Britt for TV, we spent quite a bit of time having her imagine the process, and that's really powerful. Remember what we said earlier in this live is that your mind doesn't know the difference between what's really happening and what you imagine. So you'll produce the same body responses, same imaging responses. And so what you want to do is imagine yourself going into the competition in your mind. Sit down, close your eyes, imagine yourself, and practice it. Practice going through the whole thing in your mind. And it may not happen that exact same way, but get your body used to it. So let that energy come up, let it be there, be comfortable with it. Everybody gets that. People who play in major leagues and pros and all that kind of stuff, they still get the same thing. No one goes out there for the most part just totally relaxed and doesn't care. The feelings are going to continue to come up. So the best thing to do is to get them on your side. It's not to shy away from them. Bring the nerves on the stage with you. It's totally fine, and let those nerves give you what you need to perform at your best. And that's what they can give you if you'll allow them to, or they can paralyze you. Make sure that you're focusing all of your thoughts on good stuff. If you're focusing on what could go wrong, it will go wrong. So get up there and just have the time of your life, have a ton of fun, but practice beforehand using your creative visualization to give yourself an opportunity to be there before you're really there.
Yeah.
That helps it a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Julia, imagine yourself doing that competition and performing everything because you already know what you're going to be doing. So imagine and rehearse it in your mind. This is what the Olympians do, the most successful ones, is use that creative visualization to see themselves successfully doing it. And that is the opposite of worry.
Yeah.
Worry would be projecting on all the things that would go wrong. You forget your words, you fall down, you look like an idiot. And guess what? What you feel and experience and think of tend to be realized.
Yeah, give yourself the opportunity. What we're talking about with this mental rehearsal or creative visualization is you're giving yourself the opportunity to succeed. Right? That's what this is. Versus worry, this is success training. It's making that mental rehearsal and saying, hey, I can do this. I've been practicing. There's a reason why I'm in this competition. It's because I know what I'm doing and I'm going to get out there and try my best. Now, if the chips fall and it doesn't happen, so what? It doesn't matter.
You were meant to learn something.
Get back up and do it again. And that's the thing. When you stop feeling like failure is going to ruin everything, you start realizing that failure is just a learning tool. And the more you accept failure, the more you realize it's just a part of the process, the easier everything becomes. Failing is what I try to fail as much as possible in the beginning, because in the beginning is the best time to fail. You don't know what you're doing. No, you say, hey, let me get some help. Let me get some books. Let me get some coaching. Let me figure out how other people are doing it. Let me try some new ways. And it's so much easier to get into a space where you're like, I let go of what may happen because I'm prepared to do the best that I'm going to do today. And when you can say that to yourself, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's much easier.
Nicole says, I have the book Creative Visualization. I love that.
Use the hell out of it.
And you know what, guys? You guys were asking earlier about guided meditations. I actually have a success creative visualization meditation that is for sale for only $11. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a message. I'll send you the link. Again, I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Great question here. I have PTSD. One, stop claiming it as you own it. To reverse it. Let's start with that. And can't work in a medical field anymore. In my 30s and I feel lost. Any advice? Well, I'm so sorry to hear that you've been through a traumatic experience, but just like every other human on this planet, we've all been through something stressful, and it's about how we think about it, how we claim it and own it. And like I said, just to start off with, you've got to stop owning it as like it's your freaking, like your left arm. Like, I have this problem. Like, it's always fascinating when people are like, I know I'm not confident. Like, you're so confident that you're not confident. It's the same with owning some of these mental, just bad ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If when you start here and talking about like not being able to work in the medical field and stuff like that, the reality is that you're just going to have to shift and pivot and use your skills somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never lost opportunity. There's always, we live in a time where there's so much opportunity, so many more millionaires than there are ever in history. There's so much stuff you can do. If you own a phone now and you know something about anything, people want to hear what you have to say. People want to know about your advice and what's going on. So definitely get around some entrepreneurs. Yeah. Don't stay stuck. Well, what am I going to do with myself? Go.
Stop reliving the trauma, because that's going to keep you in that mindset of like, this is still happening to me. And then you begin to attract more experiences that keep reminding you of that same energy. Anne says PTSD isn't you, it's what happened to you. That's how I shifted out of claiming it.
Boom.
Beautiful, Anne.
Nice,
yeah, you got to stop owning these things that you don't want in your life as if they are a part of you. When you say I am, whatever follows the rest of that sentence is a very powerful statement to the universe that keeps you in that perpetual feeling of whatever it is you're claiming. So I am beautiful. I am confident feels so much more powerful and supportive and loving than I am traumatized, or I am a victim, or I have this certain ailment, or whatever it is. Joseph says, I wake up and think a positive thing and then get motivated and move forward.
Boom.
Joseph, that's beautiful. That's the difference between successful people and people that are stressed out. The people that are stressed out have a long wait period between the time they think of something positive and they take the action. So if you want to shorten the gap and create success faster, then have the positive thought, take the action immediately. Stop waiting, analyzing, and judging and like trying to calculate, is this the right thing? Just take the action now and learn the lesson if you fall on your face, and get back up and do it again.
Ooh.
I know, right? Okay, so like we talked about here in the Elevated Life, it's all about a mindset shift. It's all about what goes on up here, and that's why we join you every Friday here for the Elevated Life series. But if you guys want to shift your money mindset, then I invite you guys to join us inside our private membership club, where we go deep on all these topics. And in July, we'll be covering how to bust your money myths and to create an abundance mindset. So if you're someone struggling with being an abundance magnet, being a money magnet and an attractor of abundance, then this $47 membership offer is something you can't afford to miss, because we're going to be teaching you how to get in the right mindset to create abundance. Guys, we didn't come from money. I grew up in a trailer park. So it doesn't matter where you come from or who you are or what your job is or what your skill sets are. None of this matters. All of it is a mindset shift. And when you set yourself in that channel of receiving, it doesn't matter what job you do, who you are, or whatever, abundance begins to come in all sorts of forms. So if this is something you're struggling with and you want to break through your money myths and bad blocks and beliefs around money, because, hey guys, like I said, we didn't come from money. We didn't come from a positive mindset around it. We had to learn and cultivate it. And that's the thing, guys. It's learnable. Anyone can create this. Anyone can learn it. Anyone can implement it. It doesn't matter who you are, what your job is. So if you're struggling with money and want to create and surround yourself with an inspiring community that will believe in you and that will support you, then do not miss this opportunity to catch us live teaching how to bust these money myths inside the Elevated Life monthly membership club. You can join for only $47 and cancel at any time. You have a 30-day period to soak up all the content that we've taught in the past, from how to overcome fear, how to tap into your intuition, how to set your life up for success, or transition to a plant-based lifestyle. We cover it all inside the Elevated Life. So if you've been having fun with us here, then you definitely want to catch the monthly membership club, and you'll also be invited to join our private Facebook group, where we're constantly supporting, inspiring, and coaching you guys to live that elevated life. So if you want to sign up, go to brittneycarmichael.com/membership.
Boom. What we got here?
Let's see. I was always taught, don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is small. Yeah, I love that. My mom always says, let it go, Louie. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Elena says, I was just talking with my bestie, Megan, about how I need to stop saying life is hard, that I need to shift my mindset. What a timely message on shifting mindset. Thank you, guys. Elena, every Friday here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we are teaching you guys simple ways to shift your mindset. And we also teach that in our monthly membership club, where we go deep and provide all the meditations and resources that you need. So if you like guided meditations, then definitely join the club, because every time during our training, we guide you through 1 to 2 meditation processes. But that's a brilliant realization and epiphany. That's a miracle that you just created. The more you say life is hard, the more you're going to experience a hard life. And all you have to do is shift the internal dialogue and the belief, and everything on the external will begin to shift as well.
Yeah, and it takes time for the the outside world to catch up to your internal dialogue. If you've been constantly saying that life sucks and it's a challenge for me and everything's so hard and you know, no one's looking at me and no one's appreciating me, and you say those things all the time, and then you shift them to a different internal dialogue, different self-talk, it takes time. So a lot of people are like, well, I tried that one time. I said this was going to be the best experience of my life.
But this was going to be a good day.
And then that day wasn't the best experience of my life. You got to give yourself some time. Anything that
it's like a diet.
This
you
is
don't
just practicing.
You don't eat a salad after you've eaten shitty for 30 years and expect to lose 40 pounds.
Go to the gym once on the treadmill for 10 minutes. You're like, I thought this was going to work. I'm out. So it's so important to realize, like we've been talking about, it's all about practicing, and it's practicing relentlessly. It's to continue doing it despite what it looks like, despite what the odds are, and to continue to press forward. And so it's so important when you're talking about mindfulness and all these kinds of things to always use them as the default. So you're practicing this stuff not when you get in the situation. Practice happens before that. You know, when people are preparing for a football game or something like that, they practice beforehand. They don't get to the game and go, well, we're just going to try it out and see what happens. It's a practice, and you practice and you practice and you practice, and then suddenly you're like, man, it's so much easier now. It's easier because you dedicated your time. You cut the TV off or whatever it was that you needed to do, and you let emotions come up, let the anger come up, let jealousy come up, let envy come up, let worry come up, and sit there and say, hey, can I just be okay with letting them go? The thoughts can come in. I like to picture thoughts as waves, and then your goal is not to hold on to them. Your goal is to see the wave come in, to notice it, let it crash, let it return back into like the ocean of thought, right? You don't have to hold on to it. If you hold on to it, you make the wave bigger and into something that's not really meant to be there. Let it come up, let it go away, and continue to move on.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Elevated Life series every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we teach you these simple mindset shifts. Today's topic was all over the place, from how to overcome stress, anxiety, and how to shift to a more positive mindset, how to consume more positive content. We loved this version of Q&A with the Carmichael, so thank you so much for joining. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for asking your questions. If there was anything that we didn't cover that we missed, then go ahead and shoot us a message. We'll be happy to share with you. And if you were asking about those guided meditations, go ahead and shoot me a message so I can send you those proper links. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and if you are looking to bust through your money beliefs and up-level your abundance mindset, then you do not want to miss our live training in the Elevated Life Monthly Membership Club this Tuesday. So next Tuesday we'll be going live and teaching you all of our success secrets and all the resources, the books, everything that you need to know in order to learn to manage your money, to make money, to spend money, to invest money, all the things that we're not taught, right? So we're going to be covering that inside the monthly membership club. If that's something you're interested in, you are ready to take your abundance level, if you're ready to raise your abundance, then join the monthly membership club with Chris and I by going to brittneycarmichael.com/membership. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your support. If you know somebody who would love this message, please share this video or tag them in the comments below. We appreciate the good karma. We love joining you every week, and we hope that you have a beautiful, blessed weekend, and we'll see you guys next Friday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.